boys and girls, funk soul brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel right about now. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm gonna do my quick review of the Harley Road Glide, 2021 Harley Road Glide. It's gonna be a quick 2,342 mile review. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, 2,342 mile review. What is that? That's such a weird mileage to be doing a review on. But yeah, because you know most people do their reviews on, you know, at 1,000 miles or first 500 miles or 2,000, 5,000 miles, whatever. Guess what? I was having so much fun with this bike that I completely forgot to do the 1,000 mile review. I've had this bike since April 18th. You know, it is now just exactly 2 months. Well, by the time I put the video out, it's probably going to be a little bit later, but you know, exactly 2 months, and I've put 2,342 miles on it. And I looked down one day, I'm like, what the heck? I forgot. You know, even at the service, when I did the service, I'm like, I forgot to do my mileage review, like 1,000 mile review. So look down, I'm like 2,342 miles. I can't believe I forgot to do the review. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the Road Glide. You know, this is such a big change for me compared to my last bike, which was a Can-Am Ryker Rally. It's a three-wheeler reverse strike, and obviously this is a much bigger change. That was a three-wheeler 900cc bike. You know, this is a two-wheeler behemoth of a Harley touring bike. You know, 850 plus pound weight, and you know, the engine size is just a shade under 1,800 cc's or 1.8 liter. So 107 cubic inch. You know, all those three different ways of saying it, but yeah, it's a lot different than what I own. The Ryker was my first ever reverse strike. I've never owned a three-wheeler before. It's always been two wheels. So, you know, I've had sports bikes, sport touring bikes. This is my third Harley. My first Harley was a Sportster. Back in 2008, it was a Nightster, which was, you know, I fell in love with that bike. And this to me is just like a bigger fairing version of that bike. You know, it reminds you of that old school post-World War, you know, II era bike, and that's what I love about this whole look of the bike. And yeah, so my second bike was a V-Rod Muscle back in 2013. So this is my third Harley, the most heaviest, biggest Harley I have purchased, and by no means this is the biggest Harley you can buy. This is actually not the biggest Harley. I mean, you know, or the heaviest, I should say, because they have one which is the limited, and you know, you've got a tour pack there, and you've got some radiators, and you know, of course those bikes are probably pushing 1,000 pounds. So yeah, so I bought this bike because I wanted a touring bike. I did a trip down to Florida on my Can-Am Ryker. If you haven't seen that video series, please go ahead and check it out. I'll put them on the cards up here somewhere. And me and a buddy of mine, Brian, we went and did a 6-day tour, or 5-day, 6-day tour of Miami. It was a fun trip. I did that on a Ryker rally, rode it from Atlanta down to Miami and back. It was a whole lot of fun. So check out that series. So after that, I kind of wanted a touring bike, and I looked at a few of them. My budget was you know, was very limited. These bikes are very expensive, so the budget was very limited. It was just in the 20s, barely in the low 20s, and you have to negotiate and haggle with the price. So when I went to Harley, I said, you know, this is what I can pay for the bike. I kind of, you know, they were charging 23. I kind of said, hey, I'm gonna give you $2,000 less. And after going back and forth a little, they agreed. So yeah, I mean, you know, you can get a Harley cheaper than the sticker price. They'll negotiate and haggle with you. Of course, there's a limit, you know. It's like Vegas, okay? The house always wins. In this case, the house being the dealership always makes money. If they don't make money, they will not do the deal with you. So I'm happy because they were willing to negotiate down to the price that I wanted to be at, and they were happy with it. I was happy with it. I didn't ask for more. So yeah, so I paid $21 for this bike, plus, you know, the taxes and all of that. That's separate. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who are gonna say that they bought this bike at 18 or 17, or they say, you know, they bought it for free. Actually, the dealer paid them to buy this bike. You know, there's plenty of people who boast about, you know, getting the best deal in the universe, and everybody else is just crap. They didn't get a best deal. I don't really care about that. To me, I gave them a price, they agreed to it, and that was it for me. To me, that is a great deal for me. So yes, buying experience was great. You know, they do that whole, you know, bell ceremony and whatnot. So yeah, it's a great experience. First time ever riding a bike, I was very scared, very intimidated, because I had never test ridden this bike. The moment I let go of the clutch from the dealership, I was like, wow, this is so comfortable. I can't believe how comfortable this is. I mean, I'm talking everything, like this whole fairing back here. This was so, you know, this was just one of those things that was like, wow, I can't see anything, you know, because I've never had a fairing this big. I was like, I'm always able to see the road there, not realizing that I'm always, you know, never looking down there. I'm always looking up here. So the moment I let go of the clutch, everybody used to tell me that, hey, you'll be just fine, don't even worry about it. And they were right. It was just, you know, it was so comfortable, so smooth. I was like, I can't believe I was, you know, worrying about this this fairing here. The moment I let go, I was 100% comfortable with it. So I bought the bike in Tennessee, and it was probably about an hour and a half drive back. And you know, my first ever ride, hour and a half drive back, and by the time I got home, I was completely used to the bike. And the first 100 miles braking already happened, because the braking, you know, they say the first 200 miles you have to, well, first 100 mile you have to stay at or below 3,000, keep varying this RPM, and then when you cross 100 to 200, you can go up to 3,500 RPM. But the cool part is this engine is so smooth, so big. The gearings are as such that at 3,000 miles, I was at 80 miles an hour on the highway. I was scared that, oh man, you know, I'd probably be doing 60 or 70 miles. No, I was at 80 miles an hour at 3,000 RPM. I mean, that's just how tall the final gear is, you know. So that was good. I mean, the ride home was perfect. It was great. A lot of people have issue with the seats. Honestly, I have never ever purchased a comfort seat on any bike that I've had. I've always kept the stock seat. To me, the stock seat has always been comfortable. But what I'll do is, you know, on a longer trip, I'll probably get like you know, what do you call those, gel pads or air hawks, stuff like that, to put on the seat for a longer trip. But 2,300 miles I've been rocking the OEM seat, and I'm happy with it. The first 1,000 miles came in no time, because I did a group ride and I went out, and that was almost 500 miles. I had 200-300 miles on there, and next thing you know, within like less than a month, like 2-3 weeks, I was at 1,000 miles. I'm like, whoa, that came around pretty quick. The 1,000-mile service had happened without a glitch. There was no glitch, nothing wrong with the bike, absolutely zero. Everything, you know, with the engine was okay. Everything with electronics has been fine. You know, it has been as smooth as butter. Even though this is not the most comfortable suspension, this is kind of a lower rear suspension. You know, this is the standard model. The suspension on this is just as low as the special model, but if you go into the limiteds, then they're kind of taller. You know, the seats are thicker, the rear suspension is, the air shock is taller, but to me it's very comfortable. And the first 1,000 miles went like this. I didn't even realize I went up to 2,300 miles. I was like, wow, you know, this is how smooth and comfortable the bike feels to me. A lot of people say the engine is underpowered, you need to go for the 114. And you know, one day if I can afford paying an extra $5 grand, I will definitely go for the 114. But a lot of people, there's a lot of mixed reviews online about 114 being excellent, 107 being bad, 107 being okay, no problem, being good. To me, this has ample power. I just changed the pipes on this. I don't know if that added anything or not, but it sounds like a Harley now, first of all. The 107 cubic inch has more than enough power for me to merge into highway traffic, to, you know, for all of that. So I have no issues whatsoever with the engine and the power of this bike. Sure, is the 114 better? Oh, I am 100% certain the 114 is going to be a heck of a lot better. But you know, if you're on the fence, can't afford the 114, and you're wondering, hey, what do I do? Do I buy the what do I do? Do I buy the 107? Do I stick to what? You know what? Buy what you can afford. You know, don't go overboard. Don't go above your means. Buy what you can afford. I bought what I can afford. I have never ridden the 107, so I mean the 114. So 107 to me feels plenty peppy, plenty powerful. My whole thing is, can I get up to speeds in no time? Yes, I can. Can I cross somebody on a 2-lane road without having to wonder about power? Yes, you can. That's enough power for me. I'm not going to be doing 100, 120, 30 miles an hour on this thing on the highway. Absolutely not. You know, the average speed 70, 80, that's what I'm going to be doing. Have I touched triple speeds on this? Sure I have. You know, you gotta. When you're on a bike, you just have to. So, you know, I'm happy on this thing between 70 and 90 miles an hour, and at that speed, this thing is super comfortable. I'm absolutely happy with it. So if anybody tells you 107 is underpowered, is garbage, is this, you know what? It is a-okay. You don't have to listen to them, you know. 107 has plenty of power, and of course you can always increase it. My future plan would be to put the stage 1 kit on it. That is more than enough to feel a difference on this bike. Honestly speaking, that's the peak of what I will do with this bike, is going to be stage 1 kit. That's it. I already have the pipes on there. All I have to do is get the air cleaner or breather and a tuner. That's it. So yeah, I mean, what is that going to raise? I'm not sure how many horsepower that's going to raise. If you guys know, let me know. I think it's anywhere from 7 to 9 horsepower. But that's enough. That's a 10% increase. A close to a 10% increase on these bikes. I'm eventually going to get that and get it tuned, get a tuner, and then yeah, that would be that. But that's the extent of what I'll do, because I feel like I'm good. The bike is good where as it stands right now in terms of power. So yeah, the other thing that has been great for me on this bike that I've enjoyed all these miles is the connectivity. The Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto connectivity on this is amazing. I mean, that's something that I have used. I have an Android phone, so I've used this all the time to listen to music, to pull up Waze. I love it, you know. And once you get used to that kind of stuff, it's kind of hard to go back to you know, not having a system like this at all. But yeah, I mean, it's got a bunch of options and stuff on there. It's got speakers. I've never had a bike with a sound system on there. So yeah, I've enjoyed my 2,342 miles on this motorcycle. And the best part is it's been really smooth. The mileage has been great. A lot of people don't care for what kind of mileage the bike gives you. I do. I bought a touring bike, so I care that the mileage is it gives decent miles per gallon or decent miles to the tank, because eventually I'll be touring on this bike and I don't want to have to stop every 100 miles. This thing, obviously on the highway, put the cruise control on. That's another thing that I wanted. I did not want a bike without cruise control this time around. It has a 6-gallon tank, and that pretty much means you can do at least 240 miles to the tank, if you know, if that's based on 40 miles per gallon. So yeah, good range, you know, comfortable seat. Of course, you know, any bike you get, especially a Harley, you have to get the accessories to make you comfortable. So I just got these foot pegs. I'm sorry, these highway pegs. And I was looking at some seats to see if I can move back a little, because I'm not very tall, but I felt like my legs, like I felt pretty tall sitting on this bike. Like my legs were at 90-degree angle, and that was a little uncomfortable afterwards. So I was looking at a seat to push me back a little, and one of the Harley's parts guys said, hey, instead of getting a seat, try getting these highway pegs. That may help you stretch out, and you might not have to get the seats if you think the seat is comfortable. I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. You know, it's less than half the price for the pegs. And absolutely, he was right. I mean, I am super comfortable with these highway pegs right here. These are the 360 adjustable ones. I did drop them down 2.5 inches, because before they were like up here, and you know, some of my friends, you know who you are if you're watching, some of my friends riding with me said, man, you look like you're in labor, about to give birth, you know. So I was like, okay, so they may be a little too high, so I had to drop them down 2.5, 3 inches, and now they're fine. What they started doing, I don't know if they started doing this in 2021 or last year. What they started doing is that these nostrils right here on the shark nose had a button here where a flat would close and you could shut it off, kind of like this. You see up top over here, you can open this up and then close this, kind of like that. So now they're always open. So I had to get something in there, these nets in there, even in the top one, just so, you know, you don't have all these rocks or bugs coming through there hitting me and possibly getting in my helmet, since I sometimes keep the visor open. And because, you know, that would be a bad day. But just coming back to the bike, I enjoy the sound system on it. I enjoy the screen it has on there. It's made the ride and experience more comfortable on the bike. This is basically made to lay down miles on the road and go coast to coast. You know, of course, albeit with some accessories. I still have to get some to strap luggage on and whatnot, but still, overall, this touring platform, these bikes are excellent. I mean, they're so comfortable. I love them. I was gonna get the RDRS. Never owned a bike with any kind of rider aids, or, you know, two-wheel bike with any kind of safety features such as traction control or 6-axis IMU, but, you know, I figure hopefully it'll be all right. You know, my wrist will be my traction control and the safety aids, but I never owned anything with those kind of safety features, and I wanted to get the RDRS, but I decided to go for the red color and sacrifice paying the money for the option RDRS system. So let me know in the comments below if you guys ride the Road Glide, or if you guys plan on buying, if that's something you'll dish out an extra $1,000 for or not. So the standard models, none of these dealerships have RDRS on them already. They're an option on all the bikes except the limited maybe, but for some reason any of the special bikes, all the dealers are ordering RDRs on there, but none of the standard have RDRS option in them already at the dealership. Alright guys, sorry, my main camera died out, so I couldn't record the last minute of the video, but in conclusion, my buying and owning experience of this Harley has been excellent. The bike has been great. It is absolutely everything that I expected it to be, and I absolutely love riding this motorcycle. If you're on the fence about buying a touring bike, do some research. You'll absolutely love the motorcycle. Go for a test ride if you want. If you're unable to get the 114, the 107 cubic inches of the engine is enough. If you can afford the 114, get that. If you can afford the limited, get that. Just get whatever you can afford. You'll love these bikes. The culture and history is great. And in conclusion, I absolutely recommend the Road Glide. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments below. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe. Really appreciate you watching this. And until next time, folks, be safe.